Yeah, welcome to the Making of Me podcast, where we dive into the journeys, insights, and strategies of leaders who are shaping positive change in their communities. Our today's guest is Dr. Allan, national speaker, best-selling author, and host of Energy Boss of School podcast. Jim partnered with John Gordon to help school implement the Energy Boss principle of engage and vision-driven school culture from intent to president of the Energy Box of School program, bring over 20 years of experience, helping educator lead with purpose, resilience, and energy. It's really a pleasure having you on the show, Dr. Jim.
Thank you for having me. Yes, time to bring the energy bus to the podcast and talk all about the great things we're doing. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jim. So, Dr. Jim, what were some of the moments or challenges that shape you into who you have become today?
Well, I think you have to go back to, the genesis, the beginning here is everybody, when they're starting out, they have this dream, this desire to do something, right? And usually it's eating at you. You're like, this is what I have to do. And I've always had that desire to be a professional, a speaker on stage in front of people, public speaking. But that's a hard profession to sort of jump into because, you need life experience and certain connections and why you, right? Why are they going to book you, or what do you have to say that's different? So when you're young, high school, college, it's hard to kind of break into that. But I had friends of mine who had seen this up and coming speaker, 2006, speaking near my college campus, and his name was John Gordon. And they're like, Jim, he reminds us of you. We know you want to be a speaker. You should reach out to this guy. Maybe he can help, or you can talk to him. So I did, right? I sent him an email, but I'd sent other speakers emails as well, just introducing myself and wanting to be a speaker, and got total rejection. But this guy actually responded and said, I want to help. Let's talk. And I ended up being his intern for his first book launch, and got to travel with him in 2007 as his Energy Bus book tour manager, and introduce him at certain spots. And, I was starting to partner up and really start building something together, and really realizing my dream could become a reality of breaking into the speaking world, and thought everything was great. But, then all of a sudden, things, as life happens, just changed in the relationship, and the 2008 financial collapse happened. And, I went to I was still working with him, but I was going to work for a company that was going to help promote him, right? I was going to kind of spin off and work for this company that's going to help promote him. But then that partnership fell through, and then I was kind of on my own. And it was challenging because I was about to get married at the end of that year. I just graduated college. This was my plan, to keep working for this for John Gordon, and to start building a speaking life and career. And all of a sudden it was almost like that was kind of taken away. And I didn't have a job. I was about to get married in 10 months. What do you do, right? I went back to school, as a lot of people do. I said, well, all right, I'm going to get my master's degree, and I'm going to teach on the higher ed level. I'm going to be a college professor, right? And impact people with my voice, but just in a different platform. And so I was doing that, going back to school, and John and I still stayed in touch. No bridges were burned, right? And as he started to grow, he's like, listen, I can't be everywhere. And he started giving some speaking engagements to me here or there. And then I would go and do that. And that started to kind of snowball. And that was 16 years ago, right? And now I'm his president of the Energy Bus for Schools program. I'm running his entire education division. So I'm dealing with all the leads, all the schools, taking his material into schools, writing myself, doing high-level keynotes, workshops. But it definitely felt like there was a time where that wasn't an option. I didn't know where my life was going to go. And luckily, this is key, I didn't burn any bridges, right, with him. So when he reached back out, we were able to kind of rekindle. And now it's the best of both worlds, because now I get to teach with higher ed online and also still pursue speaking and training. So it ended up working out very well for me, for sure. So that was a big challenge. It was tough. Not in life to be young, to be engaged, and not have a job, right? And have your dream kind of stripped away from you a little bit, and not knowing where you were going to go. You kind of felt like I wasn't grounded in something.
Yeah, amazing. So how do you define purpose, and how has understanding evolved over your careers?
Purpose to me is innate. I think you know when something's your purpose, when you can't stop thinking about it, when that's where your heart is, not just your mind, but your
Yeah.
heart. It's where you don't look at what you're supposed to do as a job. You look at it as part of your identity, right? And I think being a speaker has really become part of my identity. And in saying that, that's when I know it's my purpose. So that's how I define it, right? It is a lifestyle. It is something that you do it because you truly are enjoying it, and you also feel like you're having a huge
Yeah.
impact in whatever it is you're doing. I think that's the key. I know when I go into different audiences, I'm having an impact, and I want my message and my stories and my strategies to have a huge impact on these people, because I feel like it's my purpose to be there. And that's what I help people to try to understand. When I go to talk to a lot of teachers, I always say this: you know what your purpose is as students. We don't need to rediscover that. We just need to help you deal with the ancillary stuff that makes your job very difficult, that can affect your purpose. But with my own children, we talk about purpose and how we feel like you're destined to do something great. You just have to have the right attitude and effort and intentionality to chase after it, because it's not always going to be easy. Even though you may think your purpose is X, Y, or Z, becoming a doctor or doing this or that, you don't just wake up and do it. There's work that comes with it. There's mental struggle. There's schooling you have to go through. There's internships. There's life experience. It's not a straight line. But I think the more you chase after your purpose, the more resilient you become. And resiliency is a skill that I feel like a lot of people, especially young people, need to learn to master for sure.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. A lot of young persons really need to master. It's been that resilience is very key. Sometimes your education and everything couldn't take it to that particular dream you actually had, but keep pushing even when nothing happens is what is being needed, and that's resilience. Yeah, amazing. So, from your experience coaching hundreds of our leaders, what do the strongest school culture have in common?
To me, what a strong school culture has in common is, I would say, it's collective belief. And what collective belief is everyone aligned in that school. So we're talking about district admins, school leaders, teachers, parents. They're all aligned that what they're doing in their role is directly contributing to student success. So, and I'm talking about everyone, the cafeteria worker, the front office person, the bus driver, the librarian, the teacher. Everyone knows that their role, their max effort in their role, is directly impacting the data points the school wants to hit, the test scores, the great attendance, the reviews on their culture. I believe if you can get to that level in your job, that, okay, you see that, okay, what I'm doing on this campus, and I have a certain job description, but what I'm doing is actually contributing to student success. When you get people to believe that and live that, you'll get a extremely highly engaged staff that really wants to be there, wants to build great relationships with everyone on campus, wants to build great relationships with each other as staff members. The effort will be there more. They'll volunteer more for positions. They'll be innovative with their ideas that they're bringing. When you're engaged, you see that your work is leading directly to success, right? You can see the production and the results based on your actual work, and that keeps you motivated, right? And that in turn will create a great culture where everybody's contributing to that. And then if you plug in a new person into that culture, because let's face it, schools have new people coming in all the time, then they will see that as well. So I think that's really key, is this theory on, it's John Hattie's theory on collective efficacy, collective belief. And honestly, anybody listening in any industry should be able to relate to that. Like, whatever the individual roles are, the leader's job is to get them to see how that directly correlates to organizational success.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
working towards our common goal towards. Yeah, amazing. So, what are some of the common myths about school culture or leadership that you love to debunk?
The myths. Number one, I would say that some people think focusing on school culture or the energy bus is, quote, fluff, right? It's not real. Why are we talking about, positivity in culture and relationships and these soft skills? Because the energy bus is a quick little background. Like, the original book is a story about a main character who goes through a struggle and meets a mentor-like figure who gives him these different principles that he's using in his life to turn his life around. Okay, classic story arc there. And the Energy Bus for Schools, the program I run and the book that I wrote, helps people to have a great culture using those original Energy Bus principles. So there's a lot of, some of those principles involve like driving with purpose. You're the driver of the bus. Fuel your ride with positive energy. Love your passengers. Enjoy the ride. So when you hear those things, you're like, well, how does that impact school culture? Well, the fact remains is that it's not fluff, it's fuel. What focusing on school culture does is it encourages your staff members to, it's called meta thinking, meta communication. You think about what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
You're thinking about the words that you're using, how you're impacting other people. You're thinking about your actions, how they're impacting other people. So it's teaching you to think about school culture, what it is, what your role is in it. You know, school culture can be defined as very simply, it's kind of the vibe and the essence of a building. What does everybody believe in that works? You know, culture is defined by common language, common traditions, common values, common identity. So if you think about culture in terms of that way, like what is the common language of a school? What's the common identity? What are the common values? What are the common things we all believe in? That will unify people. So that's not fluff. It's a myth that is just fluff, that it's just Pollyanna positive, it's hippie talk, whatever you want to call it. The reality is it's extremely powerful when you have a unified group of people who are all working towards the same goal. Best campus we can have, the best campus culture we can have. It's kind of proving to people that there's a lot more to culture than just talk. It's really about action. That's a big myth, that's not real. It shouldn't be focused on. It's a waste of money. The fact remains that you can't afford not to focus on culture. You have to in any organization.
Yeah, amazing. You have to focus on culture. And yeah, it's really amazing being that increase of positivities and the way they actually build a whole lot of stuff. Yeah, amazing. So looking back, what challenge shaped you into the leader you are today? And how did this prepare you to help others?
I think what shaped me into the leader I am today is experience. I think it's being out there and always saying yes to every speaking engagement that would come in, any environment, any school, and challenging myself to develop material for all these different groups and writing different talks and writing different workshops and really honing it into, making sure my workshops and my talks and keynotes are specific to that group I'm talking to. I'm not just doing a canned presentation. So I always get to know every single group before I go and talk to them. And I try to frame the messages accordingly to that group. And I think that's helped me learn about communication and how, it's not about what I have to say. It's about how others react, perceive it, and do something with it. So I have to know that audience. I have to know what they're going through, what the goals are for the presentation, everything. And that's shaped me into a leader that is a servant leader. What can I do for you? Let me say yes to the engagement. Now let me learn about you and show you that I want to give you a message that's going to help you specifically. So I think, like I said, that just comes from experience. I've been speaking professionally since, 2008. 2009, and you learn a lot on the road. You learn a lot from all those different groups and all the different travel and meeting so many different people and just growing as a speaker and relying less on notes. And you just got to get out there and cut your teeth and be patient.
Yeah.
It takes a while to become proficient at something, and it takes patience and experience for sure.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. So burnout is a real issue in education. How can leaders reignite energy and engagements in their staff and students?
Well, leadership is a transfer of belief. So if I'm a leader listening, number one, you have to ask yourself the question is, do you believe in the culture you're trying to build? Do you believe in your own vision for the school or the organization? If you don't believe it, why on earth would somebody else believe it, follow it, and want to implement it? So you have to believe it. You also have to be consistent with your messaging. So as you are giving your vision out to the group, as you are getting people engaged and involved and caring more about their job, you have to believe that. You have to believe that process yourself. That's absolutely essential. And you also have to be, like I said, consistent with that messaging out there. As soon as there's a gap in your communication and your messaging to people, or it's inconsistent with what you've been saying, then people will let off the gas because they're like, all right, if the leader doesn't care, if they're not reinforcing it, if they're not holding me accountable to it, why on earth would I do it on my own? Because the whole goal of a great leader is you want to get people to feel empowered to carry on the culture on their own and come up with ideas and have positive conversations when you're not around with other staff members where they're not gossiping or whining or complaining. They're actually talking about good things and ideas and not just complaints. And you want them to do that on their own, not because you told them to do it.
Yeah.
So that comes with your consistent messaging to people. Great leaders are consistent messengers. They're visionary, but they're also always trying to bring people into the fold. They're trying to invite them to be part of the vision and then empowering them to go out and live the vision, create it, execute it on a high level, but just doing so consistently.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, Dr. Jim. So, Dr. Jim, from our audience who would love to kind of connect with you, how can they reach out to you and where is the best platform?
Certainly. I always give my email out. It's Jim at johngordon.com, JONGORDON.com, Jim at johngordon.com. And I also encourage everyone to look up what we're doing. Check out energybusforschools.com. That's energybus, FOR, schools, plural.com. Follow us on social media too, at energybusschool and at Jim Van Allan, my last name, ALLAN. And just check out what we're doing. Check out the videos, check out the impacts that we're having, the testimonials. So you can really see the kind of culture we're trying to create in schools around the world, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Jim. And definitely the link to you guys' website will be added to the show notes so that my audience could actually peruse a whole lot of content you have in there. Yeah, thank you so much. You just remind us that leadership and culture are not just about policy. They are about energy, engagement, and purpose. Through clarity, positivity, and practical strategy, school leaders can create an environment where both students and educators thrive. It really
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Great conversation. Thank you.